them right. Treat them right. Treat them right. Treat them right.
Moors are here to uplift the nation that's falling. Instead of buying strip clubs, continuing or falling. Most sisters I know got baby daddy drama, beating on the mother and he's the grand master. No patriarch or pimpin', you're the god of the earth. He calls it a man bag, I call it what it is, a purse. Making claims of strength but can't give birth. Walking to the womb through the doors of the church or temple or tabernacle, they all represent her. The story of the first female popes is a blur, not to mention the women saviors rule from both thrones. His and her throne was her own. As my aunt holds the scales with no Tahuti. Though he was a sage scribe, he was her worker bee. See the big picture. Tahuti is thought, which represents thought. Divine manifest in mind molds the thought. Get the mind out the gutter like you gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat our brothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat our brothers right. Mind is man, but women first like we were taught in ancient schools, which were the wombs, even to the tomb, the afterlife womb. Born again on another realm or back for more truth about our culture as Moors, more by roof. See how far they spread, how deep the roots truth. Get off the emotions, fire water potions. Get the shea butter, my sister, not Jergens lotions. Stop justifying BS, blaming racism. Biz King and G-Rap already erased racism. Go back to Diplo, Underground, Tupac, or X-Clan and Fezzes leather that you call it a hat. Go back to medallion strings with beads. Golden era back to question so-called MCs. Pimps and smooth operators, Asiatic kings. On a gold throne, four-finger formally rings. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat our brothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat our brothers right. These inverse curses send out orishas, return like boomerangs, demons drop in with seizures. Calling for sweet Jesus, here comes Nagas Ligas. Black handle hex on those trying to police us. Reverse a spell with white candles, witches clothed as cashiers. Behind bars, sexual energy exchange for beers. And she's getting tips with help from whispering spirits. 285 hertz beats, hypnotized sound, spell with lyrics. So soothed out their mind, can't hear but fear it. When the truth appears, they won't go near it. Songs are like Reiki, blockages they clear it. So focus on point and diligent, freedom above everything, mind's militant. Like wow, moment eureka when I speak to a sleeper. Make a master fruition and stop being believers. Get the mind out the gutter like you gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat our brothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat the mothers right. Get your mind out the gutter like you gotta treat our brothers right.
Treat them right. No girl like. Treat them right.
Circle 7, y'all.
Treat them right. Treat them right. Treat them right.
Yeah. Aha. Ignorance is contagious. Yo, lift your head up, man. You might walk into something. The scene, feathers and turbans, 1913, Moorish Jewish temples in Harlem before conscious stardom. UNIA parade, Garvey dressed Moorish as ever, admirals or emirs, catch them in the whirlwind forever. Before Allah, temple of Islam, gods and earth's nations, knowledge of nationality feed us from plantations, allegations, alterations, transfer ownership, proclamations. Feathers don't mean Moors, cause Congolese amputations, playing on emotions of the people of seed mentally. Still asleep, Drew Ali came over a century ago. Although you weren't told, seek and find. Knowledge is water for thought seeds in the mind, soil conscience. If constant will exercise demons that haunted your vessel, attempted to get between your temples, go from a Latin man to a devil, coming to lower levels and actually love it. Lower self junkies acting like troglodyte monkeys, like puppets. Renaissance is unrelated to blacks, check the facts. The Moors are who kept ancestral knowledge intact, expressed in videos, books and raps. What you call a two twins, I had to call a liberty cap. Freedom is everyone's job, but most abandon their posts. Now their children are diagnosed with multiple distinctive hosts. Plus they given the order to administer dose. Looking for salvation from out and not innermost. As souls crunch like cinnamon toast. The devil's still happy and stay happy. The message to you ignorant folks. Written on the pages is the ages, wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Written on the pages is the ages, wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Wisdom of the sages. Ignorance is contagious. Ignorance is contagious. Ignorance is contagious. When I listened to Fred Hampton, he wasn't like modern black men, white power for white people. Did he mean the Klansmen? Brown power for brown people. Did he mean the Brahmin? And I guess all the yellow powers for the Chinaman. I get it. Do you? I think not. Brahmins don't call themselves brown, and I don't see yellow anything when I'm in Chinatown. Feathers up quenching British thirst, honor our prophets that gave prophecies to the likes of Nostradamus. The Nostradamus debut #7 on Billboard. Put his finger on the cover, told us we're still Moors. Dougie Fresh, his brother, and Pop knew they're not niggas. Even Crew Kwan is a big, you know, from grave diggers. You made the same mistake politicians have, reaping what you sow, talking all that jazz, and still talking. All I see is zombies walking with their eyes low, with their minds in the screen like Max Headroom show. While you worry about FEMA, I keep my enemies closer, and one eye on dirty Moors and the conscious poser. One hand around the straw man's neck and lower self in a headlock. Vixen stabbed in a crotch, Sucunias get headshots. Jezebels and jack-o'-lanterns lead them astray because some talk BS about kill cracker, never shoved one. Jumbies taking the form of your deceased loved ones, leading you through end of tunnel lights into torture dungeons. Using honey traps against vigilance is some instruments. Propaganda say being more is tied to religiousness. When we are indigenous and bound to the continent, FOH with your flattering manipulative compliments. I have my ancestral confidence from their accomplishments. Ancestral confidence from their accomplishments. Return to my foreparents' mindset. Keeps me competent, not incompetent.
You sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in teach, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized dirty Moors, tongues cut out left earless, cause they never listen. Dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnappers, dirty Moor, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0.5 or 1 through 4. Or get it like 5 or 6 with the fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip dirty Moors lips off. Disrespecting the mother Ras Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalists Moors spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bay, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crush the dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them dirty Nehesus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorant, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same land, man. Canaanland is actually bigger than the landmass they know as the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they can just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear hoarse voices, see frog faces, and hoops feet. Demons we run with spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back seats, new mores are an issue. Get Ginsu, maybe a dream visit from Vishnu, a nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues through vigilance, active mores of militants, SPLC dirty mores, call that sovereign citizen. Lines reviews, they notice all the empty pews. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pig pen base sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beat nuts.
To any members of the MFTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MFTA. I got issues with
the case of Lamar, stay surrounded by pheasants. Dirt is guilty of fraud if dually scrutinize their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Handing their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge, the Commonwealth. Dirties claim more, but really on the straw man health. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates. In more faith, watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying so intricate.
long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
Islam Moors. Peace and love to everybody worldwide. Will that you made it through. Jesus dying for 3 days and stuff. Resurrected out the tomb now. Out the tomb time. The angel that moved the stone away from the thing was a Moor, just in case you didn't know. Clouds opened up, Moor came down, moved the stone. And then Jesus left with the Moor. It's that real. Islam to all the Muslims, the Moors. Peace and love. We're here. Tuesday session. Yesterday's was very intense. Islam to all the Moors who stay studying and stay sending emails of stuff. Or they might have a question or whatever. So if you've been asking questions and you're not getting any answers, you could email those to canaanlandguide, canaanlandguide @gmail.com, and we'll get to those. Or you could throw it in the chat, and if I see it, I'll do my best. Where did he go? Well, if we look at it from the earth plane perspective, the death was the lower self, and his coming back to life was, being born again, was him now being the God. Now time to do my father work for real, for real. Similar to us with, declare the nationality, get out the Negro status into the in full life status. Right. And then on the level that, where it should be looked at for everybody is that it's astrological. Jesus is the sun. The 12 quote unquote months are the disciples. And the whole Bible and all that stuff is just allegory. If you're looking at it, what's written on the page. Looking at it deeper, Helios Biblios, sun pages, because it's a book about the sun. It's an astrological book. Cosmology book. So that's where he went. whichever way you want to look at it. And then the people who are talking about, oh yeah, he, got stabbed up and he hung on the cross and all that stuff. Then they put him in the tomb, and then, miraculously, nothing was there, and then he came back, and then he had the things in his hand, and oh my gosh, the dead guy came back to life because God made him come. Those people are crazy. Don't even worry about them. Don't even worry about them. Moore sent this one. Again, it's long to the Moors that just study out there. And sometimes, in studying, as Moors know, that once you're studying, you'll find stuff sometimes. Sometimes you will find things. Sometimes you will find things. So the Moor said, take a look at this. Not this guy.
Pharmacy chains in the German city of Frankfurt have been labelled racist. A municipal union representing foreigners says that their centuries-old name offends migrants from Africa as they contain the word Moor. RT's Peter Oliver reports.
What is in a name? Well, for Frankfurt Council, the name of two of the city's pharmacies was enough to demand that they be changed. This is one of them, the Ziel Apotheke zum Mohren, and it's that final part of the name that the city council here in Frankfurt have a problem with. It translates as the Moorish pharmacy. Now, tradition.
Now, this is why the world doesn't respect incompetence. Remember what they say. It's not the people there who have a problem. It's foreigners who have a problem. How come foreigners have a problem? And again, once we confirm with Brother Sheldon, we already know these people aren't taking down anything for these people and their BS about trying to get rid of the Moor. Get rid of the Moor on the sign, because you can't do that. That's racist. I'm offended because a pharmacy is named after me. You know how incompetent you sound. Whoever they are, that centuries-old pharmacy called Moor should change their name, because some incompetent people are offended. Foreigners have a problem. This thing's been there for centuries, not a century, centuries. Centuries. The pharmacy's been called Moor. We're not even going to go into all of that stuff. We're not even going to go there. Why and all that. You do your own W5H. You do your own. Ask yourself those questions and go research that. You don't worry about that. So this place called Moor's Pharmacy on the record there for centuries. No issues for centuries. You understand? You see what it says right there, right? We're just leaving this up just so that, maybe something's gonna wake up in your mind when you see a sign. We've been telling you this. This is not something new to us, because we're Moors already. Here we go. Some racist people are mad because there's a pharmacy called Moors, which is them, and they're offended because the pharmacy is named after them. to racists.
What that meant is that this was a pharmacy that would have stocked alternative medicines or medicines from the East as well as Western medicine. This building here, as you can see, originates from 1900. However, there are campaigners that say that this type of name has no place in modern Germany. The reason for the complaint was that people said that using the term Moorish was racist and offensive against people from North Africa. We spoke to people here on the streets of Frankfurt, engaged their opinion about the proposed name change.
I think it's a shame because it's part of maybe our culture too. And it doesn't have any more to do with maybe with the origin. We shouldn't change our traditions.
Ding! One for more.
For me, if something is to be racist, it has to either diminish or belittle people. In this case, it has more to do with recognizing cultural heritage.
Ding! Two for more. Remember all these Europeans.
It didn't even appear to me that, it's offensive because it is it's simply a historic term, and then the pharmacy doesn't use it to be offensive.
The owner.
Ding! Three for more. Some Europeans. Let's pick some Europeans. Now, hey, people think that this is some BS. This should be changed. This is racist. They talked about it's historic, which again goes back to the whole centuries. And don't forget J.A. Rogers, David McRitchie. We'll research them. See what they told you about the Moors. Centuries old name. There's a reason why our people are the ones that aren't respected. Because they're full of BS. They got some Europeans standing up for Moors more than Moors. And they complain about somebody's racist against them. It's messed up. You're denying their own stuff. And then when they get their stuff, then they go do BS like this. So if you ever got anything from Black Wall Street Empire, they're running a fraud. Real simple. How is it that some Black Wall Street BS has Noble Drew Ali on it? And not only does it have Noble Drew Ali on it, but it's talking about completing UCC processes and CPN number purchase and all this other BS. 500 donation to get an affidavit for tax exemption. And they wouldn't have this up if people weren't paying. So it shows the level of incompetence that exists, which is why when people come and talking to me about trust and all this other BS, I'm like, FOH. Because with all this BS paper that's floating around, your good paper is not going to be anything. You better know yourself. No paper going to justify something. Oh, yeah. For sure, right writs. But that's not all and be all. Because you wrote a writ. You better be what you're claiming in that writ. There's people out there getting 500 donation to get an affidavit of tax exemption. They're not a Moorish Wall Street. They're a black Wall Street. They got no withdrawal up there. Those people are playing with your stuff that you're not taking serious. I was in. We're taking it serious. You got temple out here and all that stuff. Well, I can't say we didn't rep some Noble Juali and establish something. Nothing could be said because we're actually manifestation of a prophecy by Noble Juali that there's a Moorish Science Temple in Toronto. That's a prophecy manifested. What the people do with it, that's up to them. Our part's done. It's here for the people to do what they're supposed to do. But then they don't want to do that. They want to go and buy some package for 500, 1,200 for some package. So be careful. Could be them tour. Because people out here are not playing. They got your profit on some Black Wall Street, whatever, talking about 500 for tax exemption when Moors already know that that's some BS. And every more that studies answer is going to be because we're not obligated to tax. It's not an exemption. Right? Lying to you, talking about name change when it's corrections. Right? This is a serious money grab right now. Right? You know how serious this money grab is right now? The money grab is so serious right now that people are using their unborn children to solicit whatever they're soliciting online now. That's how heavy it is now. That's how gone the woke people are. That before a child's out the womb, they're introducing them to mic and camera. No knowledge though, because all of them are full of BS. Using certain energies, right? Using Noble Juali's energy to draw people who might sincerely have studied Noble Juali and they want to actually do the process and correct their status. No, and their premature mindset has them off. So off to the point that they're gonna go pay 500 from some Black Wall Street people to do some Moorish process. What? What do you mean? How? Why would a Moorish thing be called black? And then you're going for that. Because trust me, people wouldn't be advertising if stuff wasn't popping off. And trust me, stuff's popping off. People are caking. Fiat terms. But that's what's revolving still. So whatever. Talk about gold or silver, BS, whatever. People are raking it in. And it's strictly due to people's incompetence. Right? People's direct incompetence. So Islam, Brother Aaron, for that video. Can't remember if I read this one or not. I don't think I read this one, but to all the Moors, peace and greetings, Grand Sheikh Kudjo and all Moors worldwide, awaken and otherwise. It's the little things that keep us going. I am now on a plane headed to my Moabites land of Kenya when the stewardess asks, "Where are you from?" Maghrib Al-Aqsa was my response. She says, "I know what you mean. I'm from Istanbul." Everyone knows, and they're willing to talk about it if you know. If you don't know, they're dealing with you like nigger. It's just that simple. That's Brother Anthony Shanko Bay. Stay true to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Stay true to your awakening knowledge of self that North America is Morocco. Peace and love, Moors. And he sent a book reference for the Moors. 10 years of secret diplomacy, an unheeded warning. 10 years of secret diplomacy, an unheeded warning. Peace to the Moors that's getting out there, experiencing what this birthright is, actually experiencing it. Once again, the Moors spreading their propaganda. Noble Ali said that he has detectives everywhere. That's not a front. Grand governor for a temple in Alabama. Alabama. So Moore goes to the temple in Alabama. Or reached out to the temple in Alabama to inquire on, well, I was taking in, whether it's their website or at their class or whatever, and I noticed that you don't really teach law. Like how come you don't teach law? So this Moore, this Grand Governor, came back to the Moore and said, if you are studying that Kudjo, Abdullah, Taj, Sabir, whoever, then you're not following the true message of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now, the Grand Governor didn't know that this was already a studied Moor. This wasn't some new Moor just came into this yesterday. Right? So he was able to let him know, well, hey, listen, bro, what are you talking about? Because those stuff that those people talk about and teach or whatever, I implemented that and all that stuff worked that they were teaching me. So I know that law should be what you're talking about. So what's going on? Right? How is it that Moore didn't get played? Because he studied first. he took time to make sure that he was in full perspective. That he picked up on Grand Governor being a fraud just by his defensiveness with the law question. Which let the Moor already know what's up. Like, okay, this is, we already know where this is gonna go. Whereas somebody who doesn't have the right perspective would actually go with that nobody did bring some religious whatever like that. It has nothing to do with law. And then they start quoting Quran chapters and they start quoting things that are relative to this from a religious perspective. But not letting them know that it's divine. Because remember, the part of COINTELPRO is to either get people to not be part of this or be part of this but have everything messed up in their head so that they're going nowhere even if they got this information. Right? The Grand Governor told us more that one day he'll see that we're leading him to destruction. Right? He's leading him to destruction. These Moors that he's studying from, that he already applied everything and saw that, you know what, this actually works. He's telling him that the stuff is going to lead him to destruction. Now, why would he do that, the Grand Governor? Because their perspective that everybody's coming in the door is dumb nigger. When this isn't 20 years ago. Because people are studying now. And I know they're playing with the views. I know they're playing with it. Because I know way more people are waking up to this information than it appears. Many people. What we gotta do is stay true to what we know we're supposed to be doing with this. Not supposed to be playing games with people. Not supposed to be charging people for every damn thing that you have a conversation with them, you're charging them. You know what I mean? Every conversation isn't a consultation. Stop the BS. If we're got holy covenant and all that, you know. So peace to the Moor for relaying the message. These people out here playing games. Make sure you go watch an off-duty cop pulled a gun on a teen waiting for a bus. How will the city respond? Off-duty cop pulled gun on teen waiting for a bus. And again, once your status is minority, once your status is Negro, black, colored, once your status is, they already know you're not a citizen if you said you came over here on a slave ship. Once your status is you think that you're a descendant of some people who came here on a slave ship, they're dealing with you under Christian black codes, which means you're their property. Really simple. How did the so-called slaves get out of slavery with Harriet Tubman? They changed the clothes they were wearing. They stopped dressing like niggers. When they stopped dressing like niggers, people stopped looking at them as niggers. And then they were able to just walk down the street because they got a shirt on with a tie. They got a shirt on with a tie, and then they just got out of slavery just like that. Telling you it's status, not trying to, be assholes or whatever. We're telling you. And again, here's another one. Just because more study and when you're open to the universe throws stuff at you. It's can you catch? Brother Ronald Bay, Islam to all the Moors. I ran across a great movie that you would find interesting. It's on Popcorn Flex Network, which is on YouTube. The name of the movie is Day of Wrath. It has great history of the Moors in the 16th century. Trust you would find the movie something to talk about. Respectfully. Is that more? So Day of Wrath, Moors. We'll check that one. Write that one down. Day of Wrath. Yeah, it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Everyone is talking about it. All right, Rich GTV letting us know about Beyblade Burst Revolution. You know, Beyblade is very popular. You ever wonder why the blade is a bay? Why is a blade a bay? But whatever. We're just conspiracy theorists over here. We're just conspiracy theorists. I got something about Mr. Troy Mason. I don't know who that is, but Troy Mason. Islam to Brother Latif Bey. A dissertation submitted in partial satisfaction to the dissertation committee of the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in History by Stephen Ann Wilms. Stephen Ann WILMS. August 2014. Pages 149 to 150. Moorish science remained active. This is especially evident in the creation of a Moorish colony in Virginia during the late 1930s. The land was first cleared for the colony in 1939 in Prince George County, Virginia, by F. Nelson Bay of the Detroit Temple, along with 3 other members. Nelson Bay was sent to establish the colony by C. Kirkman Bey, the supreme advisor and moderator of the Moorish science after the death of Noble Drew Ali. The colony provided a location in the south to spread the message of Moorish science. Within the first 20 years, the colony attracted approximately 80 adherents and established about 28 homes. The MSTA did not place a great emphasis on proselytizing, but the creation of the colony ultimately brought the messages of Noble Drew Ali for the first time to Black Southerners. You know, everybody's trying to jack a piece. As you already know, Kirkman Bey was supreme advisor and moderator of a fraud. You know, nothing to do with more science, temple, or none of that. These were people who were in the way after Drew Ali passed, giving Emil a hard time, stressing him the hell out. Again, because of the fame and nobility. And the Moors of Virginia will tell you now, when you go to the same Moorish colony that these same Moors right here supposed to set up and it's supposed to be for the Moors or whatever, the grass growing out the windows of buildings that have crescent and stars over the door and circle sevens on window panes and stuff like that. And then Latif, obviously, you know Latif more, well, if it's a Moorish colony, Moors can't colonize themselves if they're home. Why would it be a Moorish colony if the Moors are home here? The Moors are home here, but they're the Moorish colony. Just watch them apples. Watch them apples, Moors. Islam to the good brother. Fine, you guys want to hear me say, the good European son. Don't call him a brother, he's a European. He's not a Moor. We are all Moors. Ask Anwar Majid. He'll tell you. Don't hear what I'm saying. Go ask Anwar. Let him tell you. Lots going on. So when you hear people, yesterday they were, Johnson Eller, Savannah Bay or whatever. And then 2 days from that, you hear them talking about they're the empress of something and somebody gave them some key to the city of whatever. You better start going in another direction. If yesterday they were Bay and then today they're Ali and they got the seat of power in some Moorish whatever, know that they probably took the bait. Because at this point in time, you're drowning. Boat has left the dock, so you better know how to swim. You said it. Boat's been left the dock. Boat didn't leave the dock yesterday. Speaking about the boats leaving the dock, another one for you to check out. sovereignnations.com. sovereignnations.com. You can read the article, The White Slaves of Barbary, April Holloway. The White Slaves of Barbary. Yeah, let's put a little bit about this on here. Much attention and condemnation has been directed toward the tragedy of the African slave trade, which took place between the 16th and 19th centuries. However, another equally despicable trade in humans was taking place around the same time in the Mediterranean. It is estimated that up to 1.2 million Europeans were enslaved by so-called Barbary corsairs, and their lives were just as pitiful as their African counterparts. They have come to be known as the white slaves of the Barbary. Truth be told, all of a sudden, you hear none of this stuff when we were in high school. But there was Europeans in slavery or anything like that. Because everybody's getting damaged by lies that were told. Not just the people who the lies are told on. So you can go read that one and get brought up to speed. I'll just put the references out there quick, fast, so you have some stuff to go check, see if they're really credible. Slavery and White Guilt, James Eden. Slavery and White Guilt, James Eden. African slave traders and their white European slaves. African slave traders and their white European slaves. America and the Barbary pirates. America and the Barbary pirates. Slave raids on Europe. Slave raids on Europe. And when Europeans were slaves. When Europeans were slaves. Let's see what else. You can go watch Aztalan, Wisconsin, The Pearl Princess and Brick Pyramid. Aztalan, Aztalan, WISC. The Pearl Princess and Brick Pyramid. This one was interesting. Everybody playing dumb. Like they don't know what's up. Everybody playing dumb. I don't know why they're playing dumb. So everybody's cracking jokes. Everybody's cracking jokes at man's pants. Everybody's cracking jokes at man's pants. That's the big joke. TD Jakes, your pants. How do you get those pants? Your pants suck, TD Jakes. Oh my gosh, where are you from with those pants, TD Jakes? Whoa, TD Jakes, you see? Did your mother buy you those pants? Everybody's trying to tell you. No matter who. Agents, sellouts, whoever. Everybody's trying to give you clues. They already know that time is up. Like the more drop last night. It's about to be the anniversary of King Alfred plan. 2019. 50-year anniversary of their plan. Time is up. These people know time's up. They're trying to save their self. But just putting it out there, letting you know, hey, we're Mars too, even though they're not telling you. They wear their little red cap or their little brown or their whatever color that they got. You know, not the jewel ones though. They'll make some, you know. Just throwing out little things. Letting you know, I don't looking like a wannabe Nation of Islam or something. Right? Not saying he said he's a Moor or none of that or whatever. Right? Yeah, we know there were Christian Moors too. We know that there were Moriscos. Right? Don't get fooled by the pants. It's all you hear them joking about. This man's pants. Nobody said, hey, except Moors. Only Moors sent this to me. And made reference to, hey, see this? He's wearing it. Yes, he is. He better be wearing it. Because Massa. So the Negroes were gathered around for the executive order. Everybody was around. All the crew, the Negro crew. Right. Now these people go ahead and they got their revitalization council. Powers and authority vested by the Constitution. The executive order to establish an opportunity, it's a privilege, right? They're given the opportunity and it's a privilege. And revitalization council. Because it's funny, because stuff that they already did here today, where they go and then they classify you as a quote unquote priority neighborhood. And then if your neighborhood's priority, then you need priority policing, priority nothing that works, priority make sure that nothing happens here so that we can quote unquote see that there's a problem, move everybody else somewhere else, tear it down, build up new stuff, and create a new community. Revitalization. And again, you know, you're dealing with the two-headed beast, Canada and U.S., which are one corpse. So what one does, the other is eventually going to do. Because the beasts feed off each other. Why not redevelopment? No, because then that would imply that they have to build stuff and other people have to benefit if it's a redevelopment. But they want to revitalize. Everything's there. They're holding no secrets back. TD Jake's got his fez on. Like they don't even care anymore. Whatever. Whoever wants to wake up is gonna wake up. YouTube. Great Shell Mound of Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. Great Shell Mound. Great Lakes, key to ancient mysteries, curious alignments. Great Lakes, key to ancient mysteries, curious alignments. The mysterious pyramids beneath a Wisconsin lake. The mysterious pyramids beneath a Wisconsin lake. And again, you know, all we're doing is just putting out info for Moors to go study. Because that's what it's about. It's all about learning. It's all about learning. So we got this one. Just hit these ones up. Quick fast. Morris Sultan, who sealed the land grant for the Europeans. He doesn't look like a pale Arab at all, does he? Oh, by the way, this is from the Moorish Paradigm by Hakeem Bey. So you know this is research. You know this is research. Just Moors doing their research. The Benishman tribe were a collection of Lenape, Nanticoke, Iroquois, and other tribes from the eastern seaboard who were displaced by the Europeans in the 1700s and the 1800s. These were those who refused to integrate into white society. These so-called Indians were actually Moors, as can be seen by their name, Ben Ishmael. Oh, so it's not Ishmael. It's Ishmael, just like Israel, for all the Israel tribe guys trying to play like that's who they are. You're actually Moors. These so-called Indians, the Ben Ishmael tribe, were not Indians, they were actually Moors. And their migration route from places they named, Morocco, Muhammad, and Mecca, further confirms the fact that they were Moors. Their name and the names of their migration route does not sound very much like those used by Indians. as we were taught. The parts of Indiana and Illinois where they settled are now so-called black areas or ghettos presently. King James the First. Yes, the same King James that is on your Bibles. On April 10, 1606, with the purpose of establishing settlements in the east coast of North America, sent two companies called Virginia Company of London and Virginia Company of Plymouth, and they operated with their identical charters but with different territories. An area of overlapping territory was created. Right? Same BS that they did with Haiti and Dominican Republic and the BS. One place, two different places and all that crap. Within the area of overlap, the two companies were not permitted to establish colonies within 100 miles of each other. The Plymouth Company never fulfilled its charter, and its territory that later became New England was then also claimed by France. The charters of the companies called for local council of each other, but with ultimate authority residing with the King of England through the Council of Virginia in England. In later years on this land, when George III began taxing the European colonies over here heavily, it led to the Great Revolt, what became known in history as the Boston Tea Party, which resulted in the American Revolutionary War of 1775. The Europeans on this land sought means by which they could shake the grip of the rule of the King of England, so in 1777, the sons of Europe would brave the Atlantic Ocean and take their chances against the Moorish corsairs and begin diplomatic relations with the Kingdom of Morocco. Now, you have to ask yourself, why would sons of Europe need to travel all the way across the Atlantic to North Africa to enter into negotiations with the Sultan of Morocco to seek recognition from a nation here on this land? And you can carry on and do your research. It is often not talked about, but the Moors had enslaved the Europeans before they enslaved us. The European nations paid tribute to the Moors well into the 18th century. In the book, The United States and Barbary Powers, it says the English, French, Dutch, Danes, and Swedes, and I may say all nations, are tributary to them. David McRitchie, in the book Ancient and Modern Britons, says the word blackmail is the result of this tribute paid. Our stuff is thick, Moors. Our stuff is thick. Really not new to this. Our stuff is thick. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's see what else we got up in here. And again, like, you know, Moors, when you get into this info, it's really important that you find serious, studious Moors to be around, you know, because it'll help you in even getting yourself, it'll help you with even getting yourself sturdy, because you know that next Moor or those other Moors that you're built with are only going to make you better, because that's just how it is. You know, they're only going to make you be as sharp as them. The first slaves held in the United States were not black, but white. They were Europeans, mostly British, who died like flies on the 3 ships across. On one voyage, 1,100 perished out of 1,500. 1,100 out of 1,500 perished. That's what them getting brought over. At another time, 350 out of 400. In Virginia, white servitude was for a limited period, but it sometimes extended to life. In the West Indies, particularly in the case of the Irish, it was for life. White people were sold in the United States up to 1826, 50 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Andrew Johnson, President of the United States, was a runaway and was advertised for in the newspapers. In 1670, Virginia passed a law forbidding Negroes from buying white people. This was 51 years after the Negro had arrived in chains. The same law was repeated in 1748. Free Negroes bought white people in such numbers in Louisiana that the state made a similar law in 1818. 1818? Talking about some plantation BS when Europeans were in servitude in 1818? That there were so many, now how are there so many free Negroes? If slavery is this booming stuff and all that, how is there so many free Negroes buying Europeans? Not just so many free Negroes, but there were so many free Negroes buying Europeans. Free Negroes buying Europeans in the 1800s? They warped this history up. They knew exactly what they were doing. Again, which is why the prophet came and put everything right back in order. All you had to do was study. That's all. All you had to do was study. The word slave was originally applied to white people. It comes from Slav, a Russian people captured by the Germans. I don't need to lie to you. Right? That's 100 amazing facts about you. With complete proof. J. Rogers. And don't forget to get the 77 amazing facts. khalifamedia.com. Get your read on. So I was doing some cleaning up and found a old paper that I was glad I found. So we could put a mother out there again. And this was the 12 things the Negro must do for himself. And Nannie Helen Burroughs. Now remember, when you talk about our people and their positions, Majority of people somewhere in the 1900s were about self-sufficiency of the race. Majority of people. So if their mindset's already there about, you know, we're emancipated and all that, so we gotta do for ourselves. And they can go as far as Black Wall Street or whatever. It's only right that we acknowledge what could have been happening by 1928, 29 when Noble Drew Ali, Garvey, and these people are doing their work. And it's interesting, again, that, you know, they're going to put these people on the wall as the Black whoever's. But a lot of the stuff that they're talking about is Moorish. A lot of what they're presenting for the liberation of our people goes back to things that were in the teachings that Noble Drew Ali left for the Moors. So we're going to just take in some of these ideas that the mother had for the Negroes to start doing for himself. One, the Negro must learn to put first things first. The Negro must learn to put first things first. The first things are education, development of character traits, a trade, and home ownership. So again, we're taking Negro, we're putting Moors in there so we can get some of this too, because we need to start doing some of this as well. The first things are education, development of character traits, a trade, and home ownership. Right? So we could take out home ownership, we could say vast estate control. Right? A trade, something with your hands, knowing how to do something. You know, more so something that people would need. Development of character traits. Right? All those things, all those lessons are in the Quran. How to develop our character. How to be better, how to be of better service to our people. What's the best way that we could serve them? What's the best way we could assist them? Looking out for more than just yourself. All these things are character traits that need to be worked on once we start getting into the realm of us being Moors. Education. Then going back to the Quran again. As soon as you pop it open, know thyself. Like, first thing, know thyself. So first things first. It's not about some papers and some cards and getting out of some BS that you got yourself into. This is about knowledge of self. This is about knowing who you are. This is about knowing when somebody's pushing your buttons, how to control yourself. About knowing self, that you know when to draw the line, when, okay, yeah, I had my last toke, or my last burger, or my last whatever. Having control, having discipline. Knowing that somebody says this time, that you're there at that time. You know, having respect for people's time. Having respect for your time. Two. Oh, before we go there too, Dr. Kelly Miller, this is a quote from Dr. Kelly Miller. The Negro buys what he wants and begs for what he needs. The Negro buys what he wants and begs for what he needs. Going back to put first things first. And again, we replace Negro and put more there. The more buys what he wants and begs for what he needs. So we're not just gonna put everything on them only. Like, we don't have flaws too, as Moors. You know, we got flaws. Two, the Negro must stop expecting God and white folk to do for them what he can do for himself. The Negro must stop expecting God and white folk to do for him what he can do for himself. It is the divine plan that the strong shall help the weak. But even God does not do for a man what man can do for himself. The Negro will have to do exactly what Jesus told the man to do. Take up your bed and walk. Take up your bed and walk. That's crazy, Brother Conway. Brother Conway just typed Alpha and Omega in the chat, and then Brother Alfonso, it's not Boris. It is the divine plan. You can't make it up. You cannot make it up. 3, the Negro must keep himself, his children, and his home clean, and make the surrounding in which he lives comfortable and attractive. The Moor must keep himself, his children, and his home clean. Again, that's your Quran lessons. Everything's in there. keep himself, his children, and his home clean. And make the surroundings in which he lives comfortable and attractive. Look around. Moors, look around. Are your surroundings where you live comfortable and attractive? You don't have to answer. I'm just throwing that out there. All right. Are the surroundings comfortable and attractive? No. It's not for anybody else. That's for you to feel good about yourself. So if your place looks bummy, you probably feel bummy. If your place is a mess, you're probably a mess. Which is all good because, you know, we're all looking to evolve. We're all looking to get better. We must learn, he must learn to run his community up, not down. He must learn to run his community up, not down. We can segregate by law. We integrate only by living. Civilization is not a matter of race. It is a matter of standards. Civilization is not a matter of race. It is a matter of standards. Believe it or not, someday some race is going to outdo the Anglo-Saxon completely. It can be the Negro race if the Negro gets sense enough. Civilization goes up and down that way. Believe it or not, someday, remember this is 1920s. Believe it or not, someday some race is going to outdo the Anglo-Saxon completely. Right, we're living that right now. We're watching that happen. We're watching them lose power. We're watching people say, "No, we don't want those Federal Reserve notes anymore." Like that's real intense. That's real intense. It's gone there. The world is not dealing with them. They're pretty much overtaken, but what's the Negroes doing? They don't even want a nationality, much less anything else that goes with civilization. 4, the Negro must learn to dress more appropriately for work and for leisure. Knowing what to wear, knowing how to wear it, are earmarks of common sense, culture, and also an index to character. Whether you're at work or your leisure, dress appropriately. What's appropriate mean? Use your common sense, because you're supposed to have a culture. You're supposed to have a culture. Yeah, and eye marks for the wearing instead of earmarks. Common sense culture and character just based on what you wear. The Negro must make his religion an everyday practice and not just a Sunday go-to-meeting emotional affair. The Negro must make his religion an everyday practice. The Moor must make his religion an everyday practice. Oh, you know, do salat and all that. But you should be doing some sort of looking in. You should be doing some type of looking in. Because their religion is Islamism. Isafla Masterism. Know thyself. For real. Really know thyself. You know, and it's like with Moors, you know, every day they take that Quran in. Because the things in the Quran are to assist you in being better. Just pick a page. It's going to be dealing with you being a better being. This is the whole point of this existence in the flesh. To raise to a higher level. Right? So with Moors, nationality and birthright is not just a class thing. Or you went to the meeting at the temple thing. Or, you know, that's not just what it is. No. It has to be every day. Has to be every day. That something Moorish is in your cipher. Something Moorish. Everyday practice. Something has to be happening every day to remind you, to keep you in that realm of Moorish over everything. It's nuts out here. They're going hard at people right now. Right? Brother called me yesterday. You know, dealing with his family, that they're demons and all that type of stuff, the way they're going against him and his birthright. The way they're going at him and him exercising this character. He's at the point of these people must be demons. There's no way that you're not just accepting this little thing that I'm trying to tell you. Like, what do you mean you're not accepting it that hard? Anybody else bring anything to you, it's no big deal. You take that tomorrow. As soon as you start trying to deal with truth, we have a problem. And then part of that goes into number 6. The Negro must highly resolve to wipe out mass ignorance. The Negro must highly resolve to wipe out mass ignorance. The leaders of the race must teach and inspire the masses to become eager and determined to improve mentally, morally, and spiritually, and to meet the basic requirements of a good citizen. Isn't that Drew Ali's lessons? That's Drew Ali's lessons. Become a better citizen. Improve mentally. Improve morally. Improve spiritually. We could throw physical in there if we want to, but if the mental and the spiritual and the moral is lacking, physical is nothing. You're just a dumbbell. We should initiate an intensive literacy campaign in America as well as in Africa. Ignorance, satisfied ignorance, is a millstone about the neck of the race. It is democracy's greatest burden. Satisfied ignorance. Satisfied ignorance. And again, when we're looking at this Truman Show with our family who's not on this information, they just haven't gone up and touched the sky yet to realize that it's a wall. You know? Let them enjoy their show. Because everybody has their own path to walk. Everybody has their own path to walk. That's just what it is. Some people are really not going to get it. Some people are not going to get it. You know, but don't beat them up because they don't want to get it. Recognize how sick they are. Recognize how sick they are. If they don't want to improve mentally, morally, and spiritually, they're sick. Right? Like I was at my mom's today, and she was talking about how their generation, 60s, 70s, they're stuck in their ways. Not bringing nothing to them that they're going to change something. Unless it's they're on their deathbed or something traumatizing or whatever to them, they're not changing. You're not changing. Unless they go to that European man's office with the white jacket and he tells them, you better change tomorrow or whatever. Then they'll change tomorrow. You can't beat them up because they're not where you're at. So you're still dealing with family. Now, we're not talking about the, uncle that raped you and all that stuff, give people passes or nothing like that. Don't people not accepting the fact that we're Moors and whatever, they don't want to declare their nationality, they want to be Negroes. Fine, let them do what they do. Right? But just like they don't want to whatever, you don't have to whatever now. So, like, so, you know, like that came up because of the whole thing with the Christmas. And she's like, oh, it's so good that you're here for Christmas dinner. I'm like, no, I'm here to have dinner with my mom. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. No, you're here for Christmas. They're like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm here for Christmas. I'm here for Christ Mass. I'm here for your stuff. I'm here for the sun rising again because it was in the tomb for 3 days. So yes, I'm here. You know, pass the stuff. Let's eat some food. Not here for no, you know. And you just make it something for them because you know that they're sick. And I don't know. That's just because I ain't stressing about try to wake them up or whatever like that. And you know what I mean? I'm there and, you know, I'm the spoil sport or whatever. Bring out the Scrabble and the dominoes and the snakes and ladder stuff. Let me beat you people up in some games or whatever. Sure. Why not? One day. Let's go. What you got? Oh, what you got? Madden, 2K. What you got? So we know they're sick. You know when they got those little, you know, bring the athlete to the hospital, and so the children could see the okay, just like that. You're looking at it with them, looking at it just like that. Even though you just had 5-hour practice or whatever like that, you're beat. You don't even want to be here right now. You know, for this minority that doesn't know who they are, they need my attention right now. They need my attention. So let me give it to them. Just because I know I can. I know I'm more. And I already know what's up. If you don't want to know what's up, that's fine. Let them not know what's up. But we don't gotta beat them. We're talking about family now. We're not talking about strangers and people who are, you know, on YouTube and stuff like that. Because I hear people already, oh, Kudo said don't beat them, but then he, no. I'm not talking about the people out there. We're talking about family right now. You know, and how do we as Moors deal with family? You know, who are, I mean, running from this or whatever. Right? All you could be is a living example. Exactly. You know what I mean? You know, and again, when you look at it, check the timeline. Are they over the hill of, you know, like Mom said, being able to change something? Because if once they go over that hill, they're not about to change. They could read, you know, like Burroughs said, read her Rex 84. They're still not on it. They're still like, nah, whatever. You know what I mean? Right? But yeah, don't kill yourself more. I wouldn't try to beat them up or wake them up or whatever like that. You just be the living example. Let them see you fezzes up and turban up. You know, you're still gonna tell them, hi, how you doing? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or whatever like that. But, you know, you're not playing that with strangers. You know, family, they get the pass because they're family, and you know that they're sick. If anybody knows, we thought, you know, the drunk uncle was crazy. He was probably the most sane out of everybody when you think back now. With this mind that we have, drunk uncle was the man. Man knew everything that was going on. Everybody else dumb. Saying, oh yeah, he's drunk. That's why he's talking crazy. Pass the Kalalua. Right, so the Negro must highly resolve to wipe out mass ignorance Social integration is a relationship attained as a result of the cultivation of kindred social ideas, interests, and standards. 7. The Negro must stop charging his failures up to his color and to white people's attitude. The Negro must stop charging his failures up to his color and to white people's attitude. So we'll just halt there. There was one question in the chat about what subjects would be taught in a Moorish school, because I think we are confused. Oh yeah, we're confused. Why are we confused? Because temples are supposed to be a school and they've been supposed to be teaching. So now we're forced to go study on our own. So you talk about what subjects, what subjects would be taught, what subjects would not be taught. And how about no subjects would not be taught? Everything's going to be taught if we had a quote unquote Moorish school. Every subject would have to be taught if we're having a Moorish school. Why? Because we're supposed to go back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. And our ancient foremothers and forefathers taught everything in their schools that you have to go 40 years there. All right. The Negro must stop charging his failures up to his color and to white people's attitude. Eight, the Negro must overcome his bad job habits. The Negro must overcome his bad job habits. He must improve his conduct in public places. He must improve his conduct in public places. Taken as a whole, he is entirely too loud and too ill-mannered. Ten, the Negro must learn how to operate business for people, not for Negro people only. The Negro must learn how to operate business for people, not for Negro people only. So whatever it is that you got, Moors, it's for the world to benefit. It's not limited to you selling to Moors only if you got something. If you have something that you can use to operate business for people, you should be selling to everybody. Because trust, people are enthusiastic when they see the Moors doing things relative to commercial activity. Real commercial activity. It's amazing when Moors have things that people want, you know, and they know that they're getting it from a Moor. It's different. It's different. Because there's something in their DNA that lets them know that these are the individuals that are supposed to be doing this. You know, we're the best marketers. Remember, we were the billboards. We were the ones that had the stuff around our neck with a sign pointing somewhere. Or if they wanted directions, we were the ones that they're gonna ask. Remember Morgan Freeman, Robin Hood. The Moor is the everything man or woman. And our famous quote from the Jordanian, this is known. Right, so improve all types of ear and eye marks and operate your business for everyone. Because everyone benefits when the Moors are actively manufacturing, producing, you know, things that people want. You know, like even when you look at the level of as far as information, like, you know, we sell lots of copies of 77 Amazing Facts. You know, like the book moves because it's information that people want. You know, just a little idea. You're not paying no rent with what's coming in, but you know, it's a signal. You know, this is why Drew Ali said he was universal. You know, as soon as we start looking at dealing with our people only, we're limiting our profit margin. Like, everybody wants something from the Moors. "11. The average so-called educated Negro will have to come down out of the air. He is too inflated over nothing. He needs an experience similar to the one Ezekiel had, and he must do what Ezekiel did." Ezekiel 3:14-19. Ezekiel 3:14-19. 12. The Negro must stop forgetting his friends. Ain't that real? The Negroes has had and still has friends in the North and the South. These friends not only pray, speak, write, influence others, but make unbelievable unpublished sacrifices and contributions for the advancement of the race, for their brothers in bonds. The noblest thing that the Negro can do is to live and labor that these benefactors will not have given in vain. The Negro must make his heart warm with gratitude, his lips sweet with thanks, and his heart and mind resolute with the purpose to justify the sacrifices. The noblest thing that the Negro can do is to so live and labor that all these benefactors will not have given in vain. Islam to all the Moors who recognize what is being done here. And not letting it be just, some people are doing some classes or lectures and we're just here to listen to them talk and then we're gonna just go home after they spoke and that's that. Thank you to the individuals who learned something and not only learned something but did something with what they learned. Did something with what they learned. And then had enough to even later on, sometimes years later, reach out to say, hey man, thanks again because if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for the mothers, if it wasn't for, the classes, if it wasn't for Blog Talk, if it wasn't for, National Theater, if it wasn't for those Moore's Order of the Round Table books, if it wasn't for Abdullah, if it wasn't, I got to go to Setenrad's classes once. Like give thanks for showing honors. Give supreme thanks for showing honors. And not just playing like this is nothing. We're just gonna read some of the amazing facts, 107 amazing facts about the indigenous Moorish Americans by Kenyu Umar Bey. 107 amazing facts about the indigenous Moorish Americans. You can probably get this at msta9.com, or they can get you in contact with Kenyu Umar Bey so you can get this. 49. The Moors, under all of their political names, ruled the entire world, but the descendants here were not even aware, as they may not be now, with the war in Iraq. These wars have always been between Christians and Muslims, Moors. So for one who seeks Black history information, they will not find it under that term, as it simply never was. '51. The Moors who had intercourse with the British became known by the colonized titles of Negro and Colored. Moorish people who became victims of British subjugation are still going through colonized title changes for the moment, They are presently known as Black Americans and African Americans. 61. We are true-blooded Moors, not a straw man. A straw man, which is also referred to as a man of straw, is a person or thing compared to straw image and is usually in law, adhesion, contract, and disingenuous legalism. A straw man is actually a counterfeit, a sham, a dummy, an imaginary adversary, or an invented adverse argument, adduced in order to be triumphantly refuted. A straw man also refers to a person with no substance, a fiction or irresponsible person fraudulently put forward as a surety or as a party in an action. In a word, a straw man is a fake, deliberately presented as a reality. 64. It is important to note that the Moors were in Europe before the Europeans were there. Before Europeans were here in the North American continent, the Moors civilized Europe. Moors were devoted to cultivating both land and people as it is part of their nature. Moors were famed for their universities and architectural treasures. When they entered into Spain, they brought thousands of skilled artisans and industrious farmers who contributed largely to the intermittent prosperity of the country. Their contributed to Western Europe, and especially to Spain, were highly incalculable in art and architecture, medicine, science, and learning. 76. Prophet Noble Drew Ali introduced Islamism to the Moors, which is the continuation of the Egyptian mystery system. What did he refer to it as? Islamism. It is because the Islam brought by the Prophet Muhammad of Arabia was an extension of the Egyptian mystery system. Islam means peace and is the cornerstone of teachings, just like the Egyptian Hotep means peace. It is the cornerstone of Egyptian mysteries. 80. According to what is recorded on the land mandate, the only beneficiary to this vast land trust is the Moors. Just as if your parents died in a car accident and left the estate behind in the form of a written trust, the only individual or group that could inherit the estate are those parties mentioned by proper name within said trust. 85. We as true Moors came forth to honor Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who revealed the truth about our nationality and birthrights in the way that the supreme source of all Allah has inspired us to. If we don't tell this Moor story, we run the risk of the Moor story not being told. If you know, then be what you know and teach what you know. I hope that this material and research will be of use to our brothers and sisters in the science, to magistrate and subject and social duties, to name a few of our divine instructions from the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as we must always be conscious and cognizant that the problems of our people are largely social and economic, but in a more profound sense, they are moral and spiritual. '94. Yea, there came Father Divine and Daddy Grace, God, Father Jones, etc., who had come out of the earlier attempts to establish the faith of Ali. From his travels throughout this land, He knew that the sins being committed and being practiced by his people in the United States of America, as they were not living up to the divine principle of honoring their fathers and mothers' names, issues, or principles. 95. The Holy Prophet knew that it was a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and to claim names and principles that delude to slavery. As such, they were continuously practicing the thing which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. 100. Today, we, the descendants of the old generation of Moors, born of the third and fourth generation of Moorish American Muslims, realize what the Holy Prophet meant. Our eyes are truly open, and we see what our Holy Prophet saw. In our community, we find from corner to corner liquor stores owned by so-called Muslim communities, which by the existence of these crack stores created orphans in our Moorish neighborhoods through the consumption of crack, alcohol, pork, wine, cigarettes, and harlots. 101. Our Moorish brothers are mentally castrated. Our Moabite Moorish queens and princesses are socially raped. We of the true and faithful know what a real Moorish Muslim wants for his brother and what he wants for himself. 102. When Moorish Americans claim their nationality, then they are able to practice the divine creed of their forefathers and mothers, which causes them to adhere to the 5 divine principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and become true Moorish Americans. 103. Through Allah's holy and divine prophet, Noble Juali, we have been guided to the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and that is to uplift fallen humanity. We, the Moors, are the true bringers of civilization. The key is still in our hands. Let's start using it to bring about once again that true foundation on which the perfect man shall not rest. 104. Remember the lesson in chapter 1, creation and fall of man. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And man was placed here to be the strength of Allah made manifest. 105. Remember, there are 2 selves, the higher and lower self. The higher self is the human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. 106. We must return the church and Christianity back to the European nation as it was prepared for their forefathers for their earthly salvation. 107. We as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa and modern name for a Mexam, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. And once again, that was 107 amazing facts about the indigenous Moorish Americans. Email MSTA9, MSTA the number 9.com, and they can, with Allah's will, direct you to that. Peace and love to all the Moors, wherever you're at. Don't forget, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Blog Talk Radio, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open. Call-in number 347-945-5899. 347-945-5899. 425-569-4959. 5201, 425-569-5201, and 319-527-6751, 319-527-6751. Peace and love in Islam to all the Moors worldwide, Islam to the Chap Moors, Islam to all worldwide, wherever you're at. Peace and love to you all. We definitely want to give supreme honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali for giving us this opportunity to know about our nationality and our birthrights. We give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey, for preparing the way for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and his message to be received by the people with greater ease. Once again, love to all. Give thanks to Nannie, Helen, Burroughs. Give thanks to the Moors who sent their questions and their information that they found doing their studying. Appreciate that. And we're just gonna get some closeout music. Don't forget MHHS Eyes Wide Open. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Let me see, what else am I gonna throw in there? Let's throw this one in. Peace and love to all the Moors. Islam. Stay true to the cause and trust Holy Covenant every day, all day. Islam, Moors.
And I know what time it is.
Yo, me too, bro. Yeah. Iron. Shit. Moorish Master MC. Hey, yo. What up? Y'all already know. Audio mechanics, what up? Yo. No need for a swatch wash. I read the time in the signs like prophets and seers. Put a hex on the beers. Put some wicker on Leopold and Mussolini offspring. To the ancestors, to their blood as my offering. Oshunola Kunya, may I show me reflections in water like balls of crystal. Walls of Venus missiles. Sun gaze and sea gods peeping from behind. I'm learning to love instead of hate and be kind, cause yes, I know. I'm thinking it's time for the wake up. Good morning as I'm yawning. Check my phone, it's only 2 a.m. Thoughts bubble like a cauldron. Feeling the toning drip from my pineal gland. Activating my mitochondrial DNA strands, stimulating my chakras like a camera captures. I did foresee the rapture, stones falling in Turkey like rain from the sky. My farmer shoveling thousands of bees that died from radioactive waves from cell phone towers. As niggas babble and debate falsehood for hours. No PhD, but they call themselves doctors. We living in the time of false prophets. When we hear them speak, got the feeling awkward. It's like they speak a language I don't understand or talk with. Their tongues talk like utensils, and they stay playing with your mental.
I know what time it is. When you call, Here we go again. Wondering if we'll ever win. When you go, I can't help falling, even though it's a long way down.
Rep for the nation, no matter the risk. Not hearing one conscious black with the service from lips. I'm repping my national flag, FOH road spray. Civil of the more tooth gets respect or honor no way. On the high road, M-talk of beat stateless, say kill cracker. But when he gives you take gifts, hypocrisy at height. Stand on your hypocrite oaths. No matter how hard you try, you get the opposite of growth. While you lift glasses, we pour libations to toast. We are not the one in souls, Moorish is our God post.
Just know it feels right.
Think they up, but they really 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 think they up, but they really.
When you go, here we go again. Wondering if we'll ever win. When you go, I can't help falling, even though it's a long way down.
Rep for the nation, no matter the risk. 100 Fahrenheit or minus 40 degrees brisk. Down for the cause and the effect of man liberation, which is raising consciousness, not playing station, not being passive. As almost are active, my throat and crown chakras past peaks, they overactive. Climbing Jacob's ladder under divine mind's guidance. The downfall has no end, no landing, just silence. Lower self-cravings when you overcome limits. Contact the inner standings in harmony with spirits.
Just know it feels right.
Think they up, but they really 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 think they up, but they really.
It's a long way down.
So many sisters missing, and our brothers in prison. It appears all our fears are from a mental condition. Little brothers sagging, thinking that they bad men, but when police come and see they no longer bad men. Mothers are stressed, wives felt left. Fathers feel no responsibility because she was just sex. She was just his punching bag, he was just a check. For him, she has lost almost all respect. Now she's swirling, trying to find a king who step granddad calls her a niggerish thing, but only behind doors closed. Men are now the hoes, surrounded by the homies, wearing the tightest clothes, dyeing their hair, doing their nails. She sanctions behavior to pay rent, sleeping with the next door neighbor. To buy food, she's tripping, his life her workstation. Caught up in the cycle like untied shoelaces.
Get caught up, get caught up, get caught up. Shit is so deep. Get caught up, get caught up, get caught up.
Time to see your faults honestly and time to correct. No time for BS arguments and disrespect. Stop buying so much funding. The beast but complaining about abuse you receive, that's what you get for paying. Those outside your nation whose finances circulating among themselves, so much no simulation. It's reality. Why are we the only casualties of human trafficking and police brutalities? Still paying for so much prayers, they still go wrong. Everyone sold their souls and singing decency songs. Chinese recruit for CBA, not NBA arenas. Too much racism at Marbury and Gilbert arenas. Perspective needs to broaden before autumn. Always looking outside for Christ, thinking so foreign. Take caution, that's not a man but a goblin. Selling lace dispensary weed, throwing up your organs.
Get caught up, and I know what time it is.
Yo, me too, bro.